I realized going back through my reviews currently where I'm standing, I've already written the reviews for Where the Sun is Silent and Confessions. I completely skipped over this album, so I'm not sure if I'm going to rewrite or if I've already recorded the reviews for those. I mean, you should be able to tell by the shirt when the videos go up, but just in case, just in case when I'm going through those albums and I mentioned 5 albums instead of 6, that's because I completely forgot that this one existed. So, yeah, that's an intro. Welcome to Ray Ryan Does Music, where today we're taking a look at another album from Alesana in a series of 6 reviews requested by Ashley Perrin, one of my friends, and today we're taking a look at Where Myth Fades to Legend. I'd also like to note that I'm in the middle of a large recording process, even if some videos don't go up for days, I'm just going to be recording about 9 videos or so, and then I'm going to be recording some other stuff, so you're going to be seeing a lot of this exact hairstyle, this exact lighting. It's gonna be like when I did all those reviews, including Go for Gold and Neck Deep and all that back in November. It's gonna be a mess, so just excuse the hair, I just woke up. But regardless, again, we're talking about Alesana's album, Where Myth Fades to Legend. With this album, we see Alesana's desire to make albums more based on concepts and ideas sort of evolve, with this one being heavily based upon tales by the brothers Grimm, and also partially, I believe there's a song that focuses on the TV series Heroes, and then there's also a song inspired by the movie The Princess Bride. So it's a decent mixture of ideas rather than solely focusing on one thing, such as Where the Emptiness, the album that comes after this in their chronological order, I believe, focuses strictly on inspiration from Edgar Allan Poe. Then there's another album that focuses on Dante's Inferno, and there's, I think, one more thing that currently slips my mind, but regardless, the idea is that Alesana likes to mess with a lot of concepts and a lot of ideas going throughout their discography, and this is another case of that situation going forward. An interesting mixture, and I have to say the result is interesting as well. And before I get into my issues with things, because you're going to find out that there are a lot, I want to focus on the positives, because that's going to be a majority of the review, is unfortunately going to be me talking about negatives I have with this album, for reasons that you'll see happen forward. But let's talk about Seduction, my favorite Alesana song out of their entire discography. Definitely tied with the likes of Apology and The Thespian, for both because it's really a song that appeals to the fans who only know a few Alesana songs, because it's one of the ones where they can name it right off the bat. I mean, it's seen all over in medias, either parodying or talking about this band. Like, if you know Jared Alonji, he makes several parodies of songs and mixture parodies and covers and such, and he mentions his Alesana several times, and this song is featured in one of his more popular compilations. So it's a song that's relatively well known. It has very solid structure. It's my favorite Sean Melk or Sean Mike. I keep seeing different spellings of his name and I'm too lazy to actually look it up. It's my favorite song from Sean, and everything from the production to the mastering is done in a sense that really compares to some of their best work, and it produces this hit song that stands out not only from this album, but again, among their discography. If you remember back when I reviewed The Emptiness, that I really focused on talking about how Sean and Dennis were taking the show and really getting into the sort of cinematic feeling, this is another song that really feels like that and really settles that score, while also trying to, and succeeding of course, remain as strictly a song that can be taken in the format of a story or in the format of strictly a live performance or just a song on an album. Especially like the lyrics that lead into the chorus, it's an example of how Alesana has an absolute knack for producing expectations and anticipation and some tension. It's one of their best qualities as a band throughout even some of their worst releases, including this one. And speaking of good qualities, I hate to say this, but this is unfortunately where those end, and this is just going to be a short review. I'm going to tell you right now, we're already at the 4.5 minute mark when I'm recording this, but of course edits, and then I have no idea how long this is going to be and how long I'm going to be able to get all my vices out when it comes to this album. But just to let you know, this is where it starts to get really negative, so I apologize for that. When it comes to this album, regarded and compared against other ones, it just feels very bland and lazy. I think the critic AllMusic put it together really well when they noted that it's just very cookie-cutter when it comes to both aspects of both genres that they commonly get associated with. Their post-hardcore elements aren't explored to the reaches that they should be and they could be, and the screamo elements just feel very lazily done and poorly written. It's a combination of so many things that's they're just good enough that so many things that are just good enough and just enough to get by turn into this overall sort of soured experience as compared to some of their other albums. Red and Dying Evening has no place on this album other than just simply providing a spot to be filled on the album here. It's the definition of filler. I tried to listen to both tracks. I couldn't find really any differences when it comes to remastering or reworking it. I could just be completely stupid and be missing the point altogether. There could be something else hidden here, but I could just not see any point for that song being included here. So many moments where Sean sounds just lazy or out of it, like better luck next time, Prince Charming. I don't know what the point of this, I guess, attitude was, if it was meant to be there for the story's sake, if it was just how he recorded this, if he was going for something new. It just sounds so unrehearsed when even back with their first EP, I Try This With Your Eyes Closed, he had this, like, tension, this, like, feeling he got across of knowing exactly what he's doing, even if it was a little unpracticed, because, of course, that was their first release, like, official release. It's just, here he feels, this feels like the break album here, in so many senses. Like, I don't know what exactly is going on here, I don't know the studio stories, I can't be bothered to look them up and analyze everything to a T. It's so all over the place when it comes to the words I have to describe all of this, you know? Even the song with Craig Mabbitt, who, when this was released, Craig Mabbitt was sort of in that moment in his music career where everything he touched, it didn't turn to gold, but it was above average, it was good, it was great. Like, you can argue that when he had joined Escape the Fate, sort of towards the middle of things, middle not counting this new album, I guess pre-Ungrateful and a little bit afterwards, it's hard to describe because Escape the Fate's discography is such a cluster. But Craig Mabbitt, this was during a moment in time where anything that he lended vocals on or that he just put together either directly or when it came to production or mastering, he was able to make it a good song. But here, he does not help the situation at all. It just feels like the feature does nothing for the song. It could have been just Dennis doing it or just more of Sean. It's so... ugh. I don't know what the overall point of this album was, if it was supposed to sound this way. Again, I don't know if it's part of the stories. I only know very loose ideas of the stories in the TV show and the movie that they're based upon. I'm not gonna go watch back and read back all those things just for one single album. I have no interest to, and I never will, even if Dance Gavin Dance, my favorite band, were to all of a sudden base something on, I don't know, the New Testament. I'm just not going to ever have the effort to go back, analyze, compare, and do that unless for some very specific reason. So with this album, I'm just left feeling very disappointed. It's so painfully average and bland, and saying that now, saying that it's painfully average and bland, I feel like the rating should really fit that and go along with that. So for an album that's just I'm going to give it an rating. Alesana's album, Where Myth Fades to Legend, is getting a 5 out of 10 from me, and that's where I'm going to end the video here. I'm capping it off. So let me know what you think. Do you agree with what I said? Do you disagree? Do you think concept albums are way too far and wide? Let me know down in the comments below your opinion on that subject. And don't forget to like, dislike, subscribe, unsubscribe, share it, Instagram it, retweet it, tout it, and don't forget to stay safe, everyone. I'll see you in the next video.